Back in 2018, Sigma launched this absolute beast of a lens, the Sigma 105 f1.4, the one that had a front element that looked like a telescope and it felt like you were using a bazooka every time you used it. I remember the first time I used it, I thought, I wonder if anyone's ever going to top that. Would anyone bring out something as beefy as that lens? Well, they have, and it's Sigma. They've brought out a 200mm f2. This thing is an absolute beast. And on paper, it's heavier than the 105. But I actually think it's not. It feels lighter in the hand. I don't know if it's because it's balanced better, but the 105 feels so heavy. It's so front heavy and it's so hard to shoot with. This 200mm is really nice and they've got a perfect balance. It feels so nice to use. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about it, have a bit of a look at it. I'm going to show you some example photos and I'm going to go through some of the buttons and what you get with the lens because, in my opinion, it's now my favourite lens. So, full disclosure, I am a Sigma creator, but that doesn't mean I get to keep any of these lenses. These are all Sigma owned lenses and they have to go back to Sigma and I'm not getting paid to do this. The advantage to being a Sigma creator is I get to use the lenses if and when I want and I get access to lenses like this when they're being launched. But other than that, I don't get to keep any of the lenses and I don't get anything extra. So that's out of the way. Let's get into kind of the meat of it. So you have this front hood, which obviously is detachable. You can choose whether you keep this on or not. It's quite big and it adds a lot to the camera. If you don't need it, then obviously you could just set that aside. There is of course a lens cap that comes with it. I just don't have it on because who uses lens caps? It has on the side here, you have a little button. You twist that and you can move this around. The 105 had similar, but the actual dial was on the actual arm. So it would loosen this whole thing and it was a bit, as you can hear that, right? It's a bit clunky and it actually does come off. You don't have that problem with the new one, so we can just tighten that back up quickly. With the 200mm, you unloosen it and it's actually built into, it's much better build quality and it just seamlessly moves around like that. Now you also have the lovely manual aperture dial, so if we unlock that you can listen to the click. That click is so aesthetic, love it. And if you want to turn it off, you can turn the click off. So if you want to have it smooth, if you're doing video, then you can have it smooth. However, I like the click for aesthetics, so you can turn the click on and off as you please, because why wouldn't you want that noise? Love it. Now let's look at the custom buttons and custom dials on the side. So on the front, right at the front here, you have 1, 2 and 3 custom buttons to customize. So one at the bottom there, one on the side, and then one at the top, and you can customize those to do various things. On the side you have focus, so you can have autofocus, manual focus, as you know, and then you can have a choice between full focus, 3 meter to infinity, or 1.7 to 3 meter. So it's obviously up to you what you want that to be, but the minimum focus distance is 1.7 meters. You have optical steady in the lens. You can either have it off on set number 1 or number 2. I found that number 1 works best for what I do, which is mostly motorsport and a bit of portrait and street stuff, and 1 seems to work better for me. You might find that 2 works best for you. You find your own rhythm. You've got custom buttons. You've got C1 and C2 on here as well. You can obviously toggle those on and off, and then you have the click button down below where you can turn the aperture click on and off as you wish. So as a lens, it's pretty straightforward. But the thing we care about is how do the photos look? Do the photos look good? Are they sharp? I mean, we kind of know the answer to this. It's a Sigma lens. It's going to be good. But I'll talk about one thing that I've noticed, and it may be because I've got a fresh unit, a newer unit, maybe not, but I'll talk about that at the end. The other day, I went out with a friend. He was doing a clothing shoot for his local brand, Old Elton's Clothing. It's based down in Pembrokeshire, and I went and tagged along and took some photos with this. You can see some of them on the screen. As you can see, they are nice and sharp. They look great, and the bokeh is lovely and dreamy. I will preference, I've only had the lens for a couple of days, and I'm going to have it for a bit longer, and I'm going to be heading out to go and get some more shots with it this week. So stick around and maybe subscribe if you want to see those. I'll be doing some street photography and other photography with this soon. So if you're interested, keep an eye out for that, because I'm probably going to be using this quite a lot. Before we have a look at a couple more of the photos, let's have a quick look at the spec sheet that I've got in front of me. They're going to be doing a Sony E mount and a L mount for this. We're going to be looking at 1,820 grams for the L mount and 1,800 grams for the Sony E mount. There's 19 elements in 14 groups creating this lens, and then in the actual box you get the pouch, the lens hood, front cap, rear cap, shoulder strap and tripod socket. As you can see by the photos on the screen, they're sharp. I'm zooming into some of them and you can see the difference, both raw and after I've edited them, of course. All of the photos that you're seeing edited are edited from my presets. There's a link in the description below. Myself and Sigma are teaming up to do a photo walk in London on the 14th of September. And if you'd like to come and join us for free, you don't have to book anything, you don't have to pay, it's completely free. There is a morning session and an afternoon session. There's a link in the description if you'd like to go and look at that. Free to come along, anyone can come along, but just bring a camera if you have one, or if you don't, just bring yourself and maybe we can sort you out. But link in description to that, as well as link in description for my presets. Now, the only thing that I've noticed with the lens so far is it missed focus once earlier on, and I don't think that was actually necessarily the lenses, but I want to highlight it because it happened. I was trying to get some shots of my partner Roxanne jumping off a bench, and I was following her along. Now, the reason I'm not convinced it's the lens is because I don't know if you've noticed, but I've got a broken arm. I was doing it kind of one-handed. It's a 1.8 kilogram lens, and I'm trying to do it with one hand and then press the button. So it's potentially not the lens's fault, but potentially, maybe keep it in mind. Go and look at other reviews. And whenever you're looking at purchasing any sort of gear, make sure you watch multiple reviews, multiple different channels, not just get an opinion from one person and then go and buy. I will be taking this out to give it a real world test soon in the streets of London, or as well to do some car stuff because I've got some exciting shoots coming up. I love it. I think you'll love it too. And as always, I'll say before you buy, go and rent it or try and borrow one and then make up your mind. But if Sigma, if you fancy giving me this lens, I definitely wouldn't say no. And if not, I'm going to go and buy one because I love it. With all that being said, create more, stress less, hit subscribe, and I'll see you